If your graphic design brief doesn't contain everything in today's video, then it's your job as a graphic designer to gather all the information yourself. But what is the difference in an amateur brief and a professional one, and how does your brief match up in today's video? With the way the design industry is going, learning how to prototype is a no-brainer. Instead of putting flat files in front of your team, manager or client, imagine being able to hand them a prototype that's so good it feels like a real app or a website. Now learn more about Framer later in today's video. Amateur graphic designers typically don't understand the power or the importance of a brief. And it's not necessarily their fault, because we are all amateurs at some point in our careers, and it's just that they haven't yet learned something important. And I've been there myself, of course. But even if you do have a brief, it still can be very amateurish, and let's take a closer look at why that's the case. Now, professional designers will dedicate a section in their brief that determines where their client's product or service is within that niche sector. Now, this is known as the market position. If, for example, you're designing a logo or a brand identity for a camera company, knowing where that company fits into the market is so important. So if that camera company is intending to sell their product up in the top 10% of the price range of cameras, your designs will look very different compared to if the cameras were among the cheapest on the market. Expensive cameras will require a very specific style of graphic design, and cheaply made, cheaply sold cameras will have a very different style of design that markets them. In a similar way, amateurs will either not think about the target market, or they might just jot down a couple of sentences about the target market and consider that enough. The professional designer understands how important it is to understand the target market, because once you do, you can then tailor the design for that right person. This is something I've spent so long talking about on this channel simply because it is one of the most important parts of the design process. A really great analogy here is to think about TV shows. Now, a TV show made specifically for young children is going to look, sound and feel very different compared to a TV show dedicated to adults. Everything on the TV show made for children will have bright colours, happy music, exaggerated mannerisms and actions, and the language spoken will clearly sound very different compared to, say, for example, a horror TV series for adults. This is because the makers of the TV show know exactly who is going to be watching their content, and so they make every decision based on whether or not it will fit in with their audience. In a similar way, your designs need to look and feel in a way that kind of resonates and appeals to a very specific group of people, i.e. the target market of your design. So you for sure need to understand and know the target market. But going alongside the target market, a professional designer who is serious about their projects will generate a client profile. Again, the amateur designer might spend a fleeting thought about this, but you obviously want to be a step above most designers, and so you want to build an entire profile of your client and their business. This profile will include things such as how long the client has been in business, what is the size of their company or their operation, what is the reputation of the business, the competition that can be found in that specific market, and other such details. The professional designer will get to understand and know the client and the target market as if they are close friends. This is one secret to successful designing. The brief absolutely needs some goals. Without goals, the project can become like a headless chicken running around without much direction. The end goal is the final design solution, but before that's reached, you can create mini goals that bridge that gap. An example of mini goals could be writing and sending a questionnaire to your client, taking photographs for inspiration and research, keyword research, initial design concepts, and so on. In having each step in the process mapped out in the brief, you will move efficiently from point A to point B and in the quickest time possible. Now, a lot of graphic design is just simply being efficient and methodical, and this is why I'm a designer who proposes that graphic design is a lot like science and less like art. Sure, of course it's still creative and has an artistic flair, but professional design has a solid method that runs throughout. With goals should come deadlines. It's all well and good having goals, but without a time to get them finished, projects can run and run and run. don't just have a final deadline goal, but you should try and have, deadlines for each mini goal. You probably shouldn't tell your client the deadlines for the mini goals, but they will of course be told the deadline for the final design, and also maybe a deadline for something like initial design concepts. And it's pretty wise to give your client a quotation of maybe a few days longer than you need, and this is to accommodate for any unforeseen events that might slow your progress. So that's the rundown of a professional brief and a more amateurish graphic design brief. The sponsor of today's video, Framer, is a no-code, free-to-use tool making it easy for anyone to become a prototyper. Now, their mission is to help you get closer for real. Create your own smart components complete with multiple states without any code, as well as drop in pre-built components with the insert menu and make your own delightful custom animations 100% visually. So in just a couple of hours, you could have a new skill that helps you stand out from the crowd. Sign up to Framer for free at framer.com/Satori graphics, and that link is down in the description box below. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.